Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Now coming to the 13th chapter, I'll just give a brief summary of this chapter. Things are easy to understand. Now, first 6 chapters are predominantly on karma. There are so many things happening. First chapter is the question, second chapter is something. But predominantly, Arjuna keeps telling third chapter, fifth chapter, Krishna, what is the need? I will take sannyas, I have to do all this, correct? So basically, predominance of karma is there. The 7th chapter starts with the famous shloka, Maya Sita Manapapa. Until 12th chapter it goes about devotion to the Lord, predominant. And then now the 13th to 18th chapter are on analysis, jnana. Now this chapter, so predominance of karma, predominance of bhakti and jnana. We can divide Bhagavad Gita like that. And it's the main teaching of Bhagavad Gita is devotion to the Lord, which is like the middle 6th chapter. Therefore, Prabhupada says this is the most important area. If we can understand 7 to 12 chapters in association with devotees, it is perfect. Now, these 2 sections are like cover. Just like Bhagavad Gita, you have cover. Now, cover is also important. That is also a nice picture. It's important. So that is also important. And now some analysis is there. How to understand this world? That's why Arjuna asks. This chapter begins with Arjuna's question. He asks certain questions that, Krishna, what is this world? What is the knower of this world? What is knowledge? What is object of knowledge? All this kind of questions he asks, technical questions. What is the material nature? What is the enjoyment? And in essence, Krishna explains to him that this world is constituted of 3 parts. That is this world first, the material energy, which everybody knows. And then there, the Prakriti also, there are a lot of details which are not known, but overall we can understand what you are referring to. But other two are mysterious. One is soul, very mysterious. Very much. At least in science, there are. In fact, consciousness as a field of study has come to science just recently. Psychology went to the dark ages of behaviorism. That's another topic it will take a few hours to understand. That is called dark age in studying the psychology. They went to behaviorism and got lost. Actually, consciousness studies have started within the modern science also, but then it got lost. And they have come back now. And they have a lot of studies of consciousness happening, a lot of papers are being written. Therefore, Prabhupada says, after thousands of Nobel Prizes, they will come to where we begin. Come to this. That is the soul. And then there is the Supreme Lord. And all the three are related. We are the observer in my body, but the Lord is just like my eyes are there. My hand cannot see the eye, but I can see the hand. True? I can know the present hand is there. My hand can't see. At least he can't see. The same way, the soul can see the body. It's an observer, but it is not the body. It's something special. We'll come to that. And then there is the Supreme Lord, who is in control of both, the body and the soul. Now these three basically is the essence of knowledge. Today only we people know about the body. People do not know about the soul, and people do not know about God. And there are some monist philosophers who mix up the soul and super soul as one. Therefore, unless we read Gita, Bhagavad Gita, Gita Mahatmya is there, it says unless we read Gita through the help of a devotee, we will not be able to understand. We will twist the meaning, we will take other meaning. Like Krishna has kept it also like that. Unless you are taken shelter of a devotee in here, you will rather take the other meaning. See what happens whenever we hear something from a great authority. We should repeat the words. There is a big trick of summarization. We don't understand so many things, and what we do, we summarize. Summarize means we push the meaning to what we know. That we should not do. We should just repeat. Sorry. I'm so sensitive. They clean my place. Or dust will come. So, and then Krishna, this is the overall summary, and then Krishna talks about how this material world is situated. He also talks about how, in this chapter, what are the different things which ultimately lead me to this knowledge of soul and God. That also Krishna talks about. So let us, this overall summary. Okay? Now let us enter this chapter. A beautiful chapter. Arjuna said, O mighty Krishna, I wish to know about Prakriti, nature, Purusha, the enjoyer, the field and knower of the field, and of knowledge and the end of knowledge. These are the questions Arjuna has asked. Know about Prakriti first, about Purusha, the enjoyer, the field and the knower of the field. Kshetra, Kshetragna, knower of the field. And of the knowledge and the end of knowledge. Jnana Geyam. End of knowledge or object of knowledge, basically, more referring to the object of knowledge. The blessed Lord then said, Krishna said, I'll tell you what, this body is called the field, and who knows the body is called the knower of the field. So Krishna immediately answers, Arjuna, wait, I'll think for some time and tell you. Krishna is spontaneous. Many of us people in this world like to be smart, spontaneous. They want to take decisions spontaneously, but they make all foolish decisions. And they give out foolish knowledge. Okay? They try to act. I have seen college and director super idiot. And everybody, all faculties will tell me, this guy likes to be smart. He wants to make immediate decisions. Always make foolish decisions. Now here, Krishna is not like that. You know? He makes immediate, but it's perfect. It's perfect. His activities are wonderful. So now this is done. Now let us go to the next one. Yeah, put the mic on.
O son of Bharata, you should understand that I am also the knower in all bodies, and to understand this body and its owner is called knowledge, and that is my opinion.
So now Krishna has first, you saw the second shloka, it said the body, correct? The body is the field, and one who knows the body is called the knower of the field. Prabhupada spends a lot of time in this long purport to explain this fact, which I did not explain to you. Let me go into that. He says it's not difficult to understand I am not the body. It's not difficult. Because just like the shirt is there. I change the shirt and I'm very conscious that I am different from this shirt. Correct? I don't identify myself with the shirt because I can change the shirt. Why I don't identify? And I still remain the same. Isn't it? We change the shirt but still remain the same person. Nothing happens. We can identify myself different from the shirt. Same way the body is also changing. It's not difficult. Therefore the famous shloka Vatsansi Jina Nita, the meaning, it can help you understand this fact. Little introspection is needed. Sometimes I am happy, sometimes I am angry, sometimes I am mad, sometimes I am sick, sometimes I am healthy. Actually these are all experiences and beyond this whole field of experience. So that is what Krishna said. Okay, now immediately next thing after explaining this, Krishna speaks a famous shloka. There you can chant the shloka. Kshetragnam chapi mavidhi sarvakshetreshu bharata kshetra gayo jnanam yattat jnanam atam mama. So Krishna is saying Kshetragnam cha. This one small word character cha, over. Mayavada is over again. Because Krishna is saying, I am also the knower. Mayavadi they say there is only one knower, impersonal. But we say, Bhagavad Gita says, Krishna says, I am also the knower. Correct? Is it? Kshetragna chapi ma vidhi. You know it from me that I am also the knower. Sarva Kshetresu Bharata, I know all the bodies. Now you are the knower in your body. Prabhupada gives a lot of examples in the purport to explain. Just like king. The whole kingdom actually belongs to the state even now. That's why they can acquire and they are protest, but they can acquire. They can acquire the property. Correct? You may be the owner, but government wants can acquire. They want to make a power cable through your plot, gone. Plot is gone. They will give you some children. They will take over. True? So originally everything belongs, they want to widen the road, they will take it away. So same way actually everything belongs to Krishna. And I am conscious of the small body within which I am. It's like in this room a tube light is there. This effect is only in this. In next house, if dark is not put on your tube light, doesn't no use. But sunlight, when it is there, it affects all the houses. That way we can understand. The symbolism, Krishna is affecting everything. And if this wall collapses, this house, this tube light is affected. Correct? But sunlight is not affected. So Paramatma is independent. It is not affected when this body is collapses. Then this soul, for this soul we have to look for another body. We have to go and fit this tube light in another house. So like that we can understand. Because of this word cha, and Prabhupada says at the end of the purport also, talks about the sum total of all the bodies. So where Lord is present with every body. Sarva Kshetreshu Bharata. This way you should understand. Kshetra Guna Jnana. In this way you should understand the knowledge. And to understand this body and its owner, Kshetra Guna. Body and the owner. So there are two owners in the body now. Body and the two owners. If you understand this thing properly, that is knowledge. And actually nobody understands these things properly. They mix up. And Prabhupada says in the purport, a lot of time is spent to explain. Don't mix up, they are two separate things. The soul and the Lord are two separate things.
Now please hear my brief description of this field of activity and how it is constituted, what its changes are, whence it is produced, and who that knower of the field of activity is, and what its influences are.
See, there is Kshetra and there is knower of the Kshetra. Like you have a farm, agriculture farm. Like you are a farmer, you are independent of the farm. No, this crop is going, that crop is growing, that's fine, but you are not the crop. You're different. So similarly, this body is sick today. You're not the body. Farm, the crop is spoiled. But you are not spoiled. You are independent of the field. Kshetra, na. The knower of the field, like a farmer seeing his land. And the king, he owns all the land. Like the super soul. He is conscious of everything. Whole kingdom he is reported to him. Not only reported, all the time the Lord is conscious of it. The field of activity. Now Krishna is going to talk about the field. How it is constituted. Your field, agriculture field, the metal nature. We'll talk about that. How all the permutation combination going on. Now you have cabbage, now you have rice. We are talking about the field. What happens it is produced? What the knower of the field of activities is and what is the influences are. Now let us see. Now Krishna, before beginning the knowledge about our discussion, Krishna says something very important here. He says, now we can chant this shloka. Rishivi Bahuda Geetam
Rishi Bahuda Geetam
Chandovi Vividhai Prasad Brahma Sutra Padaschaiva Hetu Madhavir Vinishyatam.
That knowledge of the field of activities and of the knower of activities is described by various sages in various writings, especially in the Vedanta Sutra, and it is presented with all reasoning as to cause and effect.
Now, very important point here, a learning process. You know, the Krishna himself, being the highest authority, still is using the process. See, all the acharyas and the scriptures speak what I am going to speak. So this is very important, because it's not that for us, suppose we want to speak about spiritual knowledge, even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is the Lord himself, but he was in the role of a devotee. So whenever he is saying something, he is to give references from the scripture. This is how we have to teach. Okay? You are in a court, you are talking to the judge, you always keep quoting. This section, this judgment, they keep quoting like that. That makes authoritative. Similarly, when we also speak, should quote. That requires that we should also, at least some important verses we should remember. And then it looks authoritative. Got it? It looks very authoritative. So, Krishna also, because this is how the spiritual knowledge is, it's a descending knowledge. It's not a knowledge which we can develop from ignorance. We hear, we accept. So you see how Krishna is saying, he said, I am taking this, what I am going to teach you, Arjuna, this already has been discussed by the great sages and also there in the Vedanta. That makes it a process. Everybody follow this process. Don't speak whimsically, basically, the whole idea is. Yeah.
The five great elements, false ego, intelligence, the unmanifest state, the 10 senses, the mind, the 5 sense objects, desire, hatred, happiness, distress, the aggregate, the life symptoms and convictions, all these are considered in summary to be the field of activities and its interactions.
Now this is Sankhya, basically. And here it is a summary. Now, it can be studied in detail. Bhagavatam has some more details. The 5 great elements, earth, water, fire, air, ether. And I explained to you, these elements basically, earth means which is perceived by all the 5 senses. Water by 4, like that, subtler, it goes. And then there is false ego, ahankara. And that's why we are all here. We are not against real ego, we are against false ego. Suppose you say, I am a servant of the Lord, that is real ego. Am Brahmasmi, I am an Atma, that is real ego. But you say, I am the controller of everything, and that is false ego. You say, I am a student, engineering student, that is real ego. You say, I am the owner of Apple, That is false ego. You're not an owner of Apple company, or you're not an owner of Microsoft. That is false ego. You're an engineering student. That is real ego. So there is false ego. Anyway, this is subtle element. Intelligence, that's another. They're all different energies actually. False ego is another. The unmanifested, referring to pradhana. So all the three modes in beginning are unmanifested, then they manifest. Whole material creation, unmanifested three modes. It's inconceivable for us, but unmanifested three modes of material nature, which is here. Avyakta, it is said in the word, but the same as pradhana and mentioned in English. The 10 senses, 5 senses for input, 5 senses for output. The 5 sense object, that's another deep science. The 5 sense objects, Gandha, Rupa, Sparsha. And then desire. Now with this, what happens? 24 gets over. You see, the 5 great elements, count 5. Who can count? False ego, 6, intelligence, unmanifested, 10 senses, mind, 5, 3, 8, 1, 9, 5 sense objects, 14, and the 10 senses, 24. You got 24 analysis of Sankhya, over. Then there is interaction of the living entity with these elements, which is the 25th, and it produces desire, hatred, happiness, distress. All this. Aggregate refers to this 24, which we talked about. The life symptoms, yes, which are because of the spirit soul, and convictions. All that are considered subject to the field of activity and its interaction. We are just telling a summary. This all the people who follow the jnana process can keep analyzing. In Sankhya, people break their head over this. This is a summary. This will go into thousands of pages of trying to understand these 24 elements and the soul as independent of all the 24 elements. And then next 26th element, the Lord Himself. There are actually 26 elements. And some of these things are interactions here. Desire, hatred, happiness, distress. These are all convictions. Yes, you can read.
Humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness and self-control, renunciation of the objects of sense gratification, absence of false ego, the perception of the evil of birth, death, old age and disease, non-attachment to children, wife, home and the rest, and even-mindedness amid pleasant and unpleasant events, constant and unalloyed devotion to me, resorting to solitary places, detachment from the general mass of people, accepting the importance of self-realization and philosophical search for the absolute truth, all these I thus declare to be knowledge, and what is contrary to this is ignorance.
Because why all this is knowledge? Because this is the only thing which will give you self-realization. Now the first thing, because unless you have these things, see today we have the universities of knowledge. They don't teach all this thing. The first thing to be taught when you enter a university is humility. That is what was taught in the Gurukul previously. They used to have tremendous respect for the spiritual master. Every day they used to go on his behalf and beg house to house. And then they used to bring all the items. Correct? There was no salary, no fees, free education. Today talk about free education with all is available. And then after that, food will be cooked. And if the Guru forgets to call somebody for lunch, he will fast. Actually very important, it's training of humility. Because Prabhupada explained the purport. Humility means not eagerness to accept honor for oneself. Prabhupada defines it very nice. People have, strange idea. Humility means no. We have no desire in our heart that anywhere I go I should be worshipped. That is humility. Got it? We get neglected, we get so upset, we go somewhere. No. Humility means you have no desire. Pridelessness also develops from that. Non-violence is very interesting because Krishna in Bhagavad Gita orders Arjuna to kill. So how can it be quality then? Krishna himself is lacking that quality of. And he's duplicitous, he's saying something and it doesn't happen. Rather Arjuna was non-violent. Correct? So the point here is, I explained many times, Prabhupada also was once invited, Gandhi's non-violence movement, somewhere to give a class. So Prabhupada explained. So soul is eternal anyway, you can't kill it. Violence means when you arrest the spiritual growth. And non-violence means when you aid that spiritual growth. So non-violence means actually that you see that the society, that people are there, they're all eager for spiritual advancement. Or they should be eager. When you facilitate that, that is non-violence. And when you do activities which will arrest that, like governing, opening sort of slaughterhouses, liquor places, then this is violence actually. You are actually slaughtering their proper many times to say. Today is so sad to see the characters of people, all the innocent mass of people are slaughtered by the nonsense leaders. And they are completely destroyed. Even we have big events where Kumbh Mela was there. Where is the publicity? Where we have this Jagannath Rath Yatra, such a big spiritual event. It is there, the government is not promoting please come, please come. People are going because of their old culture and word of mouth. Not that please come. They don't want actually. But something they have to live up with. It's not like they want. Previously the want means the kings, what beautiful places they used to build. Correct? How many beautiful places the kings have built. And they themselves used to be there. Like Pratapruta used to personally prune the road before the Ratha used to come. That is the non-violence is to properly understood. Today government is violent because it is arresting people's spiritual growth. Tolerance. Now tolerance, it is part because sometimes we get insulted. We should be detached. We should be able to tolerate some difficulties in this world. Simplicity, we should be very simple. In the sense that we can tell anybody anything. How much money you have, where it is coming, that is actually simplicity. Not duplicity. There's an opposite word of duplicity. We say something, we mean something. It is true, a Kshatriya is allowed, and a Vaishya businessman allowed duplicity. You ask a businessman, what cost you purchase this? He will say, I am selling you for a loss. And that is not wrong. You ask a Kshatriya, where is the money, where are the weapons? He can lie. So diplomacy is allowed for, even for Kshatriya, politics. Simplicity is practiced actually by Brahmana. Very simple. Just like a child, we say simple. Yeah, it's a good quality. Approaching a bona fide spiritual master, Prabhupada said, without that nothing will happen. All this 26, nothing will move, this is not there. Yes, approaching is essential and you have to learn because it's the descending knowledge. You cannot discover this knowledge. You have to hear it from a teacher. Okay? So therefore, approaching a bona fide, you should be bona fide, very important. Not that somebody is there, but who has not, who does not know and who is teaching them. So very important we identify a bona fide spiritual master. Actually, first thing, we should be sincere. Then automatically Krishna will help us in the process. Not only we are sincere, we should also look for. Just like suppose pizza is there. Now you should know what is pizza. That's a separate issue. You go and buy a pizza or pizza is delivered to you. That's a separate issue. First you should know what is pizza. Otherwise you will go to fruit shop and say give me pizza. You should know what it is. You think maybe it's some fruit. You should know. We are not promoting fast food but just an idea. So it's very important, we should approach a bona fide. It's a big tattva, just like there is Shiva tattva, Krishna tattva, Jiva tattva, Guru tattva. You You should understand what is guru. Many people in India, it's a fashion. I want to have a guru. But first you should know what is a guru. It's very important. It's a fashion. I have to have diksha. It's a big fashion. Many people come. Can I get diksha? Can I get diksha? They have not met us one day only. Can I get diksha? It's like, I have a guru. It's like, and it may be a bogus society, bogus spiritual organization, but persons is a great pride, I'm attached to that. Just because that organization is famous, then that becomes another ego. Many rich people also have that, and then they will go to big pandal program they'll organize, and in front of everybody the guru will pat him, so he will become mukhya special there. Cleanliness, Prabhupada says, both internal and external. Now, these all things are needed, otherwise there is no knowledge possible. Not that what need to be clean, everything can be dirty. Sometimes you see temples like that. Then you can understand there is no knowledge also inside. Because these things are not there, knowledge will not enter. Correct? We should be humble. If somebody is not humble, not learn anything. Even material education we can't teach. The student is not humble. Prideless, non-violent, tolerant, simplicity. These all things are needed for real knowledge to descend in your system. Just like there is a protocol. I don't know much, but there is some kind of protocol when I'm downloading. There has to be some things. Then things can be downloaded. So to download real knowledge, these things should be there in the system. Preconditions are there. Under the control conditions are there, then real spiritual knowledge will descend. Otherwise it will not descend. But today, who is training all these things? They don't train. Therefore, we see no spiritual knowledge in anybody. Because they are not fit. The patra is not ready. How the spiritual knowledge will descend? It will not come. Bring a vessel. No, you want knowledge, bring a vessel. There is no vessel. Cleanliness is very important. Person should be both externally and internally clean. Externally we can be clean by regular bath. That also nowadays is very difficult. People take bath perhaps once in a week. They adjust with scent and get up late, sleep till 3 o'clock, then your hostel also till then. Everybody goes to class after bath. And there is no water anyway in Tamil Nadu. I'm just joking. Many people skip bath and go now. There are people. It will continue even in job. In China, they take bath in the night. They say, why? You get very nice sleep. Whole day, how can you work? And they brush in the office. It's like rats being engaged for work.
Here also, Christian community, they take bath in
Here
in Mangalore.
Mangalore, very nice sleep they get.
Should be fresh before going to bed.
That is their whole life. Hiranya Kashipu. Then, so internal cleanliness comes by process. That's like we recommend the process of chanting the holy name. Internally. External cleanliness. Therefore, in the Vedic time, person cannot just get up and take, even after bath, go to office. No, he is not ready. Snanam eva prasadanam. Bhagavatam laughs for Kali-yuga. They think I am purified just by taking bath. That's like we have to go to any work, we take bath and I am fresh clothes. No. Your mind, what about the mind? That also has to bathe now. Go, sit down. Like we chant the names of God. Purify your mind. Then go. You're not ready. You have to wash. So internal cleanness requires chanting. Steadiness. One should be very steady and determined. Prabhupada says here that he should be ready to take all austerities and accept those things which are favorable and reject those things which are unfavorable for spiritual life. That is steadiness. Self-control, yes, self-control is very much needed to advance in spiritual life. Renunciation of objects of sense gratification. This requires advancement. Because if this I am entangled with, where I can, if I even suppose you want to study physics, you're trying to study. Nowadays nobody actually studies. You study, which is, even science people don't know properly. I told you one devotee came to our college and taught us we don't know science also. Because we never study actually. Isn't it? We were also students. So, objects of sense gratification, if we are still not able to give up, then we are distracted. And once you are distracted, they are in Rajoguna and Tamoguna. Knowledge is only in Satoguna. And Satoguna means he has given up the hope that he'll ever become happy by any sense of self. Then the mind is calm. Very important for learning. Essence of false ego. Ahankara should not be there. Real ego is no problem. Aham Brahmasmi. I am a spirit, so that's fine. But Ahankara should not be there. I am the enjoyer, I am the controller. No, sir, you're not. You are enjoyed, you're controlled. You're not enjoyer and controller. Which Prabhupada says, always you should understand this fact that we are subordinate to the Supreme Lord. If we don't accept voluntary subordination to the Lord, you will be forced to become subordinate to the Maya, the illusory energy. Just like if I refuse to accept the authority of the government, I am forced to accept in the jail authority of the jailer. So it is a better choice to voluntarily accept the authority of the. Just like suppose you are driving a car. Voluntarily if you follow laws, it will be wonderful. If you don't follow the laws, you will be put into jail and forced to follow the laws. It's better voluntarily follow in that way. The perception of evil of birth, old age, disease and death. Very important. We understand these are things. Because this will actually, Prabhupada says, we should be very pessimistic about the material world. And this will help us. Birth, old age. See, this Krishna created this illusion and this world. He knows what is the loophole in this. So this world looks very wonderful to you and a great enjoyable world to you. But don't forget, birth, old age, disease, death. And any person, I told the doctors can do that, bring more matter. So that we can actually convince ourselves fully. Prabhupada said it should be discussed. Because disease and old age, everybody has an experience. Birth and death, no. We have forgotten completely. Death also we have forgotten. We don't know. We don't have an experience. We have seen other people having an experience. Birth we have forgotten. We hardly know. In the Bhagavatam there is a lot of information about the miseries of the child in the womb. They discussed. A lot. Suppose you are put in a bag, tied up. 5 minutes you go mad. Particularly a child. Tie him up in one place, put him. He will shake so much. We at least don't do that much, but you go mad actually. You get frustrated. So this is the situation. For 9 months we are frustrated like that. And at least in the last few months we are very conscious of it. In the beginning, because body is not developed, the conscious not manifest. But later, the conscious become manifest. For the last, I think 3 months, you are very conscious. If you take lunar months, then it is 10 months we stay in the womb. Solar, 9 months we stay. 28 days, 280 days is, if you take lunar, it is 10 months, 28 days. If you take solar, it is 9 months. Therefore, I was saying everything in Vedas is perfect. Because Vedas never use the solar system, they always use the lunar system. Always therefore Janmashtami, Ramnam. And Prabhupada so many times lecture says 10 months, in the womb 10 months. So why is he saying 10 months? Because lunar 10 months. You see, everything is perfect. No need to revise or correct. At 7 lunar months, the child becomes conscious. I don't know how much your analysis says, but how much? What time the child becomes conscious?
28 weeks.
28 weeks.
That will be 7 months.
7 months, yes. Which okay. And become conscious. So the 3 months is terrible, so we should be very conscious of that. Non-attachment to children, wife, home and the rest. So Prabhupada explained the purport here. He says it's not that, not an affection. They are natural objects of affection. But they should not obstruct our spiritual life. Then we should become detached. It's like Prabhupada had that. Actually, it's a great fortune. And the whole family is eager for Krishna consciousness. It's a great fortune. But if not, then we should be detached. I want to chant Hare Krishna. Why are you chanting? We detach. That's it. You chant. Whatever you say, you say. Correct? But if the family is Krishna conscious, then there is no... these are all natural objects of affection. Prabhupada explained the purpose. Not that, no, I understood Krishna conscious. No. I don't look at my child also. I don't look at, no, we're not saying that. This is not an impersonal philosophy. You're saying they're natural, but at the same time, don't get lost in that and it should not obstruct your spiritual life. If they are obstructing the spiritual life, then Hare Krishna. Everything, is seen with the purpose. Even-minded and unpleasant and unpleasant events. Very important. That pleasant and unpleasant thing, they should be very constant, unalloyed devotion to me. Prabhupada says this is the most important among all the items in this. Resorting to solitary places. Basically, even if this jana, the public, is not there, which is generally foolish, we are not affected. We are ready to live away from the crazy people in this world. Jana Sangha. The devotee does not want to live alone actually. He likes to live with other devotees. But he doesn't feel a pain when he is away from the nonsense friends of this world. That is the solitary places. Detaching from the general mass of people. Therefore, that is both are not connected. Accepting the importance of self-realization. Because unless you have an eagerness for spiritual knowledge, how it will descend? You know that is, I want that, it's needed. Philosophical search for the absolute truth. Person should be very, very inquisitive to understand the absolute truth. And Prabhupada explained the purport that these 20 items which have come here are step by step. Now sit and analyze. Begins with humility and ends with philosophical search for the absolute truth. Now you sit and analyze how one is coming about. Staircase. I should now explain to you the knowable, knowing which you will taste the eternal. That is the beginningless, that is subordinate to me. That is now he is talking about. See what he is talking about. Here he is talking about Brahman. It is called Brahman, the spirit. It lies beyond the cause and effect of this material world. Now, knowable. Something which is most worthy to be knowable is the soul and the God. Now Krishna is going to talk about that. Gayam, technically. This is the famous shloka. Sarvata vani bhadam tat sarvato akshishiro mukham sarvata shruti malloke sarvamavritya tishtati. So pani means hand in Sanskrit. Padam means the legs. Krishna is saying everywhere the Lord has his hands and legs. Correct? Because, see, my consciousness is present only within my body. So my hands and legs are here. But the Lord is proprietor of all the bodies. Therefore, Krishna says, you offer to me, yes, you can pick it up. In that sense, you have to understand. His eyes and face, everywhere. All the bodies are owned by him. And he is also, because the Paramatma is present in every atom, he is present in everybody's heart. And he is seeing everything, he is hearing everything. In this way, the super soul exists. Prabhupada says there is the Mayavadis, the impersonalists, they run for the shloka as referring to the soul. And it is not true. This soul cannot be present in it. Soul is present in this body. You are present in your body. You don't know what I am thinking. It's not possible. That is for the Lord. Lord is conscious. He said in the second shloka. He said, what did he say? Kshetragnam Chavimam. I am also the knower in everybody. Therefore, two people are there in this body. I claim that this is my body. Now Krishna is claiming this is my body. All the bodies are mine. And which is a fact actually. It belongs to him. He is the owner, we are the tenant. So the owner can always say, this is my house, these are my doors. Like that Krishna is saying, everywhere my hands, legs are there. Sarvendriya gunabhasha Sarvendriya vivarjitam Asaktam sarva bhrikchaiva Nirgudam gunabhoktacha. Now the Lord's inconceivable feature. Sarvendriya gunabhasha. You know, Abhasha, he is the source. He is the source of all the senses, but it does not have any senses because Lord's senses are spiritual. That's it. How can this contradiction exist? He is a cause of all the senses, but he doesn't have any senses because he has spiritual senses. His eyes are spiritual. Therefore, it is said in the Vedas, he saw before the creation. That means he has eyes. But the material creation came after. That means his eyes are spiritual. Matter manifested later. He saw, he desired, he thought. Therefore, his mind is also spiritual. It's actually the spiritual entity. Asaktam sarva bhrikshaiva. He is not attached, but he is the maintainer of all the living entities. Again, he is not attached, but still he maintains everybody. How can he maintain without attachment? It's a fact. That is the Lord. He is like that. Nirguna guna bhokta api. He is without any material qualities, but he is the master of all the gunas. So this is actually a contradiction, but all the contradiction reconciled in Krishna. Krishna came out of the womb of his mother, Yashoda. At the same time, he saw to his mother whole universe within him. He is inside, he is outside. This contradiction. But that's how Krishna is. Everything is contradiction. Supreme truth exists both internally and externally, moving and not moving. He is beyond the power of the material senses to see or know. Although far, far away, he is also near to all. You see, all these are contradictions. He is internally also external. How can something be only inside and outside? Yes, he is a Paramatma sitting inside, and outside also you can take the darshan. Huh? And then he is in moving and non-moving. He is there in both the things. He is beyond the power of mental senses to see or know. At the same time, he is nearest to all. So, like that, he is bundle of contradiction. Because we are seeing from a material plane, therefore it is contradiction. For him it is not a contradiction. For us it is. All the super soul appears to be divided. He is never divided. He is situated as one. Appears. Just like sunlight is there. Now you ask somebody, where is the sun? Above me in the morning, afternoon. You ask somebody in Chennai, where is the sun? Above me. All the millions of people will say it is above me. Correct? But he is one, sun is one. Similarly, super soul, mystically, as Paramatma sits in everybody's heart, in every atom also, but it is one. It is not divided from it. This is inconceivable. How it sits in everybody's heart, it sits inside every atom also, but super soul is one. Mahavishnu expands to Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Garbhodakshaya Vishnu expands to Shirodakshaya Vishnu, which is super soul. But super soul is there in my heart, your heart. Is it further expanded? No. It is one. So these are all contradictions we can't understand. Although he is the maintainer of all the living entities, it is said, understood, he devours also everybody. Krishna is the maintainer and he is the one that pralaya and destroys everything. He is feeding everybody, making all arrangement, but when he wants, it destroys everything. This is inconceivable. That's what it is. Therefore, I said, we should just repeat what we hear from the scripture. Now what happens sometimes, in trying to understand that, and without properly understanding that, we try to summarize and make a mess of the whole thing. Therefore, very important, before summarizing, you hear properly. So, and therefore you are trying to say what you are trying to say. This all cannot be understood. Okay? Unless you accept the fact that Krishna is inconceivable. Prabhupada said, in every department of knowledge, you should first accept God is inconceivable. Then begin. Otherwise, they make a mess. He is the source of light in all luminous objects. That is true. Because all the energy of the sun is coming from the Lord. And whatever we have energy is from the sun only. And all the light, either directly, indirectly, is from the sun only here. He is beyond the darkness of matter and is unmanifested. More about God. It's beyond the dark material world. Because this material world is dark unless there is a sun. And is unmanifested. He is beyond our forceful perception. He is knowledge. He is the ultimate knowledge. And he is also the ultimate object of knowledge. Because see, that's why Gita is worship. Gita is knowledge, no? But Gita and Krishna, there is no difference. Both are Supreme. He is the knowledge and he is the object of knowledge. Therefore, if you understand Bhagavad Gita, you understood Krishna. Because there is no difference between Gita and Krishna. It's mysterious. Advayam. He is the goal of also all the knowledge. Krishna is the goal of also all the knowledge. He is situated in everybody's heart. More about the Lord. Basically, in this chapter, soul, this word, and the Lord, and their interactions are discussed. Little Jnana. Thus, the field of activity, the body, the knowledge, and the knowable have been summarized by me. It's like, see, this laptop is there in front of me. So, this is object of knowledge and knower, and there is a manual, the knowledge of this laptop. There are three different things. This is all Gayam, Jnanam, it can go on all this. From Jnana they made all this. Jnanam, Gyanam, Vijnanam. Only my devotees can understand it thoroughly and thus attain to my nature. Because if they are not devotees, they tend to mix up these three things. Science, they make these three things one. Soul, God and matter, they merge into one. And the impersonalists, they merge the soul and God into one. We know all the three are distinct. That is real knowledge. And so that is what only devotees know that. Impersonalists do not know. Materially, the living entity should be understood to be beginningless. Material nature is also beginningless, is eternal, but energy is, even science we agree, energy is conserved. Vikara occurs within the energy, you can transfer, but energy is eternal. Living entity's Atma is definitely eternal. We can't do Vikara also. Their transformation of the modes of matter are the product of the mental nature. So whatever you are seeing, this word is nothing but a combination of this living entity and the mental nature combined. Different living entities and dead mental word is there. Nature is said to be the cause of the mental activities and effects. Correct? That's the nature. It's producing everything. But the living entity is the cause of various sufferings and enjoyment in this world. Living entity is responsible for all the sufferings and enjoyment in this world. It is not happening accidentally. This is a very famous slogan. Purusha prakritisto hi Bhunte prakriti jan guna Karanam guna sangvasya Sadasat yoni janmashu. The living entity, the mental nature, thus follow the ways of life, enjoying the... Mother, you can.
The living entity in material nature thus follow the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with the material nature. Thus he meets with good and evil amongst various species.
Somebody we see very comfortably situated today, and somebody we see in a difficult condition. Correct? We see that. So this happens because of our association. See, only freedom we have is a very important science. You have explained something. You don't have freedom to choose activities. We think I am independent and I can choose what I want to do. No, that is not where your freedom is. Your freedom lies in association. By association, your consciousness changes. And you act just like, say, I am the one having cold now because I told you some reason, some dust. I am now, because of the cold, forced to sneeze. You are not forced to sneeze. Because I associated with something, some dust, and I am infected. Correct? So only my choice is association. You didn't associate with dust. If you associate with dust, you will also be sneezing. Correct? Or you get cold infection, you sneeze. So our choice lies in what? Association. And once I am associated, I am rasic, tamasic, sattvic. I have no control over my activities. Somebody comes, shouts, if I am tamasic, I get up and punch it. If I am rasic, I get irritated. If I am sattvic, I wherever I am situated, I will act based on that. I have no control over myself. So my control was in changing my consciousness, not in activity. We think I'll change my activity. Many times people say that I have what to do, I am short-tempered, I am short-tempered, I am short-tempered. Many people say that. Yeah, because he has to change his association. He cannot immediately change his activities. No, I will not do it. You can't do. Because you come to Santoguda, automatically your behavior will. Correct. Many times in a life we see, I could have at that moment done like this. It would have been so nice. Yeah. You could not have done anything because your conscience was like that. You will behave like that only. But you can change by association. Then you can behave in a different way. If you are very sattvic, you have a lot of control over yourself. I should do that. I can do. But in Rasic Tamasic situation, we just act helplessly where we are situated. Therefore, it's a Karana Guna Sanghasya. And how does the consciousness affect? Consciousness changes by association. It doesn't change by your tablets or food and all. Consciousness changes by association. So we should associate properly. Food, yes, will depend on who makes. Upadishtanumanta cha Bharta Bhokta Maheshwara Paramatmeti Chaviyukto Deyasmin Purusha Paraha.
Yet in this body there is another, a transcendental enjoyer, who is the Lord, the supreme proprietor, who exists as overseer and permitter, and who is known as the super soul.
Now the super soul activities are given. Anumanta Upadishta. Anumanta means is sanctioning. Upadishta means is overseeing. So always in our heart the Lord is there. He is overseeing everything here. Correct? We should know this. And He is sanctioning. Proper then said. And let us read this word. Actually, we should read proper. From within He gives instruction as stated in the Bhagavad Gita, and from without as Bhagavad Gita, and from within He tries to convince you that the activity in the material field are not conducive to real happiness. Just give it up and turn your face towards me, then you will be happy, He says. Thus the intelligent person who places his faith in the Paramatma or the Supreme Personality Godhead begins to advance towards a blissful eternal life of knowledge. There were so many nice purports, but in this there is no way I can mark. And I have better things, I will do that. Yeah.
One who understands this philosophy concerning material nature, the living entity, and the interactions of the modes of nature is sure to attain liberation. He will not take birth here again, regardless of his present position.
Because clear understanding should be there of the soul, super soul, and this world interaction. Then he is in knowledge.
That the super soul is perceived by some through meditation, by some through the cultivation of knowledge, and by others through working without desire.
Karma Jnana Yoga. People are trying to understand this.
Again, there are those who, although not conversant in spiritual knowledge, begin to worship the supreme person upon hearing about him from others. Because of their tendency to hear from authorities, they also transcend the path of birth and death.
Prabhupada says very important in this purpose. He says that this verse is particularly applicable to the modern society. Because where jnana anything, people, if they can hear, that's a Prabhupada made number one thing in his movement, distribution of his books. Why? That people can hear. If this is done, then rest will follow. Correct? That's why we request everybody, wherever situated. It is not practical every day we can represent. It is not practical. It is not possible also. The routine, days. At least you can sometimes just hear to the words of a great devotee, Acharya. Yes, we are making our path ready to go back to God. Prabhupada is saying, although not karma said, upon they worship Supreme Lord upon hearing it from others mean authorities, not nonsense. Because the tendency to hear from authorities, Prabhupada is saying, they also go back to God. So this is not easy. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said this is most important. Prabhupada is saying here, faithful hearing from authoritative person will help one transcend the material existence and go back to Godhead, back to God. Yes.
O chief of Bharatas, whatever you see in existence, both moving and unmoving, is only the combination of the field of activities and the knower of the field.
Okay? The Atma and this matter. Everything is a combination of it.
One who sees the super soul accompanying the individual soul in all bodies and who understands that neither the soul nor the super soul is ever destroyed usually sees.
Okay, this is also clear. Actually, this Lord is there in everybody's heart. It's very important. If you can meditate on that, you become very peaceful. It's a great realization. So super soul is accompanying everybody. Then it does not differentiate between people in the sense that the Lord is not differentiated. See, Krishna accompanies the pig also. Seeing that Krishna is, he sees through Krishna. Then he sees everybody equal. Savam Charanta. And he understands neither soul or super soul is ever destroyed. He actually sees. Then he is coming to knowledge.
One who sees the super soul in every living being and equal everywhere does not degrade himself by his mind. Thus he approaches the transcendental destination.
Okay. He understands the Lord is there in every living entity. It does not degrade, the effect of the previous shloka, it does not degrade himself by it. It's very wonderfully situated. In fact, we know the Lord is there, we don't do any foolish activity also. Okay? Krishna is like people say, where is God? Is everywhere. He's there in his heart, he's there in his heart. His heart is there everywhere. So therefore person not approach this person. Yes.
One who can see that all activities are performed by the body, which is created by material nature, and sees that self does nothing, actually sees.
See, all what we are seeing, we are only seeing an experience. I told you many times that I am seeing this mic in front of me. I am not seeing this mic actually. I am seeing an image which comes on my retina. Actually, I am not seeing that also because something neurons happen and they finally at the end of it, it is so confusing. What I can conclude, I am having an experience of mic is in front of me. You will say I am touching, that is also an experience. It may not be there. So but if you can understand, I am not even this experience. I am beyond. I am the experiencer beyond all this. This is a real knowledge. So performed by the body is external. Everything is external to me. Okay? Self does nothing because soul is completely transcendently situated from this whole phenomenon. It does nothing. Actually sees.
When a sensible man ceases to see different identities which are due to different material bodies, he attains to the personal conception. Thus, he sees that we are expanded everywhere.
So we see different bodies, now same thread is going on, but you understand this same soul is present. In the sense, similar soul is present. Those differences of the body are not reference to the soul. No, you are big, you are small, that doesn't mean the soul is big or small. It has nothing to do with it. It's completely independent of that. That is the Brahman conception. So you spend some time, Krishna here explaining, when a person comes to Brahman platform, how does he see? When he comes to knowledge, how does he see this world? Now in this world, we discriminate people based on their body or some external thing attached to the body which they carry, which car they have, which mobile they have. We differentiate people on that. But a person actually sees people based on the soul, which is not independent of the situation. Point in the material variety has nothing to do with the spiritual variety. It has nothing to do with it. Great vision. See, this is descending knowledge. You cannot apply ascending here. If you want to ascending knowledge, go to the science. And there, they are not able to even understand what is soul. Forget about God. So this is the information receiving from the Lord. The first thing that a decision should be, which I want to follow. And when I follow descending path, don't say, no, bring ascending path. Not possible. Just like scientists will never allow. If I go to college and I say, no, we have to take what Krishna says, they don't allow. Because they are in a process of ascending knowledge. Correct? In due respect, that is a process. So similarly, the Vedic process is descending process. Now here, these things, so to a certain extent I can understand, and I am getting the theoretical, what you call, this called ontological knowledge, or axiomatically the fundamentals, the way world is existing, and receiving that knowledge of Krishna. Yeah, one more.
Those in the vision of eternity can see that the soul is transcendental, eternal, and beyond the modes of nature. Despite contact with the material body, O Arjuna, the soul neither does anything nor is entangled.
Okay. Soul stays in a glorious position. Nothing happens to the soul. Because sometimes people say, why Krishna is so strict? Yeah, because Krishna is not sentimental. You know, suppose I take a knife and jump and come to cut your head, and you're saying, don't do, crying, you're shaking in fear. I bring till here and leave. I didn't do anything. Similarly, death, so painful. Nothing happens. The body is torn apart, soul is as it is. Soul feels, I'm gone, I'll die. Nothing happens. The body is taken away. Just like shirt, somebody is feeling, I am the shirt. And you tear away shirt. He's as it is. But when you're taking the shirt away, he's feeling he is being torn to pieces. So nothing happens to the soul. Yeah.
The sky, due to its subtle nature, does not mix with anything, although it is all pervading. Similarly, the soul situated in Brahman vision does not mix with the body, though situated in that body.
The soul is sitting in the body, just like, we put a spoon in a pickle and the spoon got eroded, rusted, because pickle is so strong. I don't think what happens when you put inside. It's also will. But anyway, that's a separate issue. But soul is sitting in the body, doesn't get dissolved in the blood or air. Because why Krishna is telling that, even he told, because it has to be repeated. People are only experience of matter. They don't understand soul so glorious. And that is me. That is us. Correct? Nothing happens to it. It doesn't dissolve in the blood or it doesn't dry in the air. Nothing happens to it. Even they burn the body, nothing happens. Does not mix all the situated in the body. Correct? So this is our Jnana chapter, where the situation is explained. Yeah.
O son of Bharata, as the sun alone illuminates all this universe, so does the living entity. One within the body illuminates the entire body by consciousness.
Okay, this is also easy to understand. Sun is in one place, but the whole world is illuminated because of. Similarly, the soul is there in the body, but whole body is illuminated by consciousness. Okay, touch anywhere. A dead person, when the soul is left, that is dead person. You cut his body also, he will not protest. A living person, touch one hair, you give his life. Okay, that's yeah.
One who knowingly sees this difference between the body and the owner of the body and can understand the process of liberation from this body also attains to the supreme goal.
Very important. So Krishna is saying you should understand the difference between body and the owner of the body. And can understand, I am entangled in this body today. I am in this illusion that I am the body. I am trapped also inside this body. Can understand all this, attains to the supreme. Yes. Okay.
Okay.
That's the last. So let us read Prabhupada's words. Prabhupada is saying these things are meant for contemplation and for realization. So what we heard, don't think, kuch suna, kuch kehna. No, meant for contemplation. Think about this. It's very important. We read also one page, whole day you keep thinking. Whenever you get time, keep thinking. Keep repeating. Then the realization comes. Contemplation, then it leads to, then Krishna reveals. See, realization is something different. You may theoretically understand something, but realization means perception of that. Correct? So then, and one should have complete understanding of this chapter with the help of a spiritual master. Otherwise, many people, Sarvado Pani Padam, they say it is for the souls. All the personal, that's what they say about this chapter. Prabhupada ki, Bhagavad Gita ki.